Hello, my name is Steve Sizemore, a senior associate with Kendig Keast Collaborative. The City of Nassau Bay has retained our services to assist in the development of the city's Unified Development Code. This presentation is an overview of the scope and general process as an introduction to the project. The presentation will cover who KKC is, what we will be doing, what the city will get, and why this new code will matter in the future development of the built environment of Nassau Bay. Our firm is based out of Sugar Land, Texas. We've collaborated with over 150 communities, including many in Texas, to develop customized and responsive approaches to comprehensive plans and land use regulations. The KKC team members have many years of city and county planning experience, together with an equal amount of experience working as planning and code consultants. We pride ourselves in being a small firm, and we work hard to establish strong relationships with our partnering communities. Although we won't be using Encode Plus during this particular project, our sister company provides an online content management and code publishing software. KKC is a multidisciplinary firm with a select group of talented and highly qualified principals and associates with a diverse set of skills and knowledge. For our work with Nassau Bay, our team will consist of Brian Mabry and I out of the Louisville, Kentucky office, working together with Mary Chambers as the project director for the city. The city adopted a new comprehensive plan, Plan 2040, in October 2020 with the assistance of KKC. This UDC project will update the regulations related to zoning for the city by building on these past efforts. We've reviewed Plan 2040 with key attention to the recommendations under the 5 focus areas. Our goal is to reflect the plan's vision and produce a balanced, resilient, and collaborative approach to fostering a high-quality built environment through the code. The new UDC will be organized around a structure that contains all the development regulations in one place. Our intent is to produce a code which is user-friendly for all end users. We will restructure and reorganize the regulations to reflect the most often asked questions for the casual user in the beginning and procedural and technical provisions most referenced by the professional users toward the end. Through an easy-to-follow code, this structure should be intuitive for all users. Key characteristics of this code we aim to produce will help provide more predictability and certainty in the process, serve multiple paths to yes, help streamline procedures, and define standards that espouse the desired character for the city. What is our approach to producing the UDC? Well, first, we want to make the code as simple as possible by drafting in plain terms, reflecting standards through graphics and tables, and making procedures easy to follow. Second, we seek to balance city policies with market forces to achieve the city's planning objectives. The market is not fixed, so we want the code to be flexible, allowing multiple paths to approvals that is easy for the staff to administer, as it is for the end user to make applications. Next, we want to ensure the code creates the value for the city by streamlining review procedures, incorporate best practices, and define standards that protect and conserve the character and quality of the city's neighborhoods. And finally, it is important to understand that not all codes are created equal, and one size does not fit all. Nassau Bay is a unique context with a specific history. We feel this code can be successful if it balances between an easily administrable code while reflecting the community's development climate and regulatory tolerance. We're currently in the beginning phases of developing the UDC. Following our presentation here and our initial deliverables to the city staff, we will begin an iterative process working with staff, the advisory committee, and regulatory bodies, gaining feedback and drafting the 2 modules that will eventually become the adopted new UDC. We divide our drafting phase of the project into 2 modules. The first module will include provisions that pertain to the overall code that we call basic provisions. It also includes zoning district and land use provisions. Now, in the zoning district provisions, this includes the establishment of base districts as well as associated dimensional standards for uses permitted in those districts. Under the land use sections, we like to consolidate all the uses permitted in the code into one use table. That makes it easier for everybody to see what uses are permitted by a particular district. And this will be outlined according to whether the use is permitted, conditional, or perhaps a special use. We also include accessory and temporary use standards in this section. And then there are reserved sections for special uses such as wireless telecommunications or manufactured homes. And these sections often reflect state or federal regulations. The building and site design standards address site development standards pertaining to signage, landscaping, parking, and other regulatory standards. The subdivision standards reflect all the design standards and procedure elements that are required to provide a development plat or subdivision plat. Under the environmental section provisions, this will include the floodplain management provisions that will be carried over from the existing code. Under use definitions, this will provide very specific definitions pertaining to the uses outlined in the use table, making it easier for all to interpret the particular use. The second module will address the procedure element of the code, as well as other less referenced provisions such as nonconformities, enforcement and remedies, general guidelines for using the code, and definitions of key terms used throughout the code. We're still in the kickoff phase of the project. Over the next year, our path to developing the UDC will progress through the iterative drafting phase beginning in the new year, with the 2 modules delivered during the summer. Following that, we expect to begin the public review process in September of next year, with the target adoption date of November 2022. What will the city get in this process? Well, as I've emphasized so far, by applying contemporary best practices, the UDC will reflect a customized modern code. We achieve this through simplified language, but also through the use of graphics and tables where at all possible. If it can be expressed in a table or graphic, we prefer to go that route, making it easy for all to interpret and hopefully save time for all users. In conclusion, I'd like to reiterate what we consider the benefits of an updated UDC. So a new UDC will update language to address common issues, reflect the community's vision, and incorporate industry best practices. It also will consolidate the source of review procedures, standards, and definitions into one document. It will produce consistency from such consolidation, as well as hopefully provide user-friendliness for all users, including staff and laypersons, and organizing the code to match the flow of the review process, from the zoning change to subdivision review, to site plan, to building permit, and eventually the certificate of occupancy. That concludes this presentation, but if you'd like to follow the progress and learn more about it, we encourage you to visit the city's website shown on the screen. We appreciate your attention, and we look forward to working with you over the next year.